Alright. You're not going to see my beautiful face in this video, but... alright. How big of a battery do you actually need to start a car? Now, our test mule for the day is a 1997 Ford Escort with the single cam 2-liter 4-cylinder. Now, a little bit of knowledge on the test mule. Test mule, pretty fully loaded, okay? For an Escort of the 1997 vintage, it's got power door locks, it's got power windows, keyless entry, AM/FM cassette. So it's got accessories, you know. But our test battery is actually a battery from 2017. This came out of the factory according to the date code on the side of the battery, May of 2017. As you folks can clearly see from the label, this is a 350 cold cranking amp battery. Now, this is middle well, start of summer. It is 74 degrees out, and it's been that way for a couple weeks now. So, thing is, will this 4-year-old lawn tractor battery, of which has 12.33 volts, will it start this car? No, this is still a good battery. Ironically, it'll crank over my big V-twin. But my guess is yes, it will. But we're going to see that now. Whoa. Now, the question is, why do you need a 350 cold cranking amp battery with 12.33 volts not crank this motor over? Well, the answer to the question is actually the fact that it's only got 12.33 volts. If you know lead acid batteries, a fully charged lead acid battery will run about 12.8 volts. It is considered dead at 12.33 volts. So, even though this battery probably has enough juice in it, you know, cranking amps, even in the cold, to churn this motor over, it actually doesn't have the power. So, I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to throw this bad boy on the charger for a little bit, turn the camera back on. We're going to try this again. Alright, now, we have battery now with 12.89 volts. And what does that mean for our cause? Well, that means for our cause that realistically this battery should be fully charged. So, again, will this 7-year-old battery, this old lawn tractor battery, start this 2-liter motor. The question of the century, right? There is no trickery involved. That is the lawn tractor battery. Now, you're wondering, why is it then that they're selling big, huge batteries for vehicles? Reason is, realistically, if it got any colder than this, or you had a high draw from the battery before you shut the vehicle off, this battery would not start this car. The thing that's the key here, though, is it's really only starting the vehicle. It's not having to run a million accessories. So, what does this tell us? And we are charging at 14 and a half volts. So, how is a lawn tractor battery able to start a car? This 2-liter engine. Well, mitigating factors are, number one, it's not a big, huge engine. It's not a high-performance engine. If I remember when I looked it up, this motor runs about 8.5 to 1 compression. So it's not got a lot of compression that it's got to work against. It's a single cam motor. That means it's not got all the parts it's got to pull around, or start pulling around. Okay? And due to the fact that it's got electronic fuel injection, it didn't have to crank that long. Now, granted, yes, a good carbureted motor will usually fire off on the first round. But, come on, how many people actually know how to tune a carburetor nowadays? Sadly. So, am I saying go out and buy a lawn tractor battery for your Escort if you have one? Heck no. What I'm saying is that realistically, if you feel that you don't need the bigger battery and you live in a warm climate, you're never going to come up north to where it's cold, and I'm talking 50 degrees Fahrenheit or below, then maybe the smaller battery would be okay for you. Now, us here in the Northland, the bigger the battery, the better you can be. For two reasons. Now, this is maybe why you would want to buy the bigger battery down in the warm areas. The fact is that a bigger battery is going to have a longer life. If I was to use this lawn tractor battery to start this vehicle every single day, this thing would be dead in 6 months. Maybe a year. Why? Because that is way too much load I'm taking off the battery at one time and trying to replace it at the same time. So, you know, it's the life of a battery. Okay? So, I just thought it'd be interesting to show you folks that, yes, you can start engines on smaller batteries, but is it highly recommended? No. And the thing is, folks, This was a test. And folks, I want to know what your comments are down below, because I think it's kind of neat to run this Escort off of a lawn tractor battery. Now granted, it's a larger lawn tractor battery, but still, it's a lawn tractor battery. So, do you need the massive battery? In these older cars, no, not really. In the newer cars, say, such as, I'd say probably 08 and newer. Well, even in the trucks, probably 04 and newer in a truck. Yes, I'd say get the biggest battery you can, because there's a lot of electrical components on these vehicles. There's more wiring on a modern vehicle than there was in years past, even vehicles of this generation. So, kind of keep that in mind. But they did add a lot of electronics to these newer vehicles. And when the alternator can't keep up, the computer system really does rely on the batteries. So, if you are having problems, maybe you do have a smaller battery than what you should have. Go with the bigger battery. You know, if the mechanic can't figure it out, you know, and it's something weird in the electrical where it does it intermittently, go with the bigger battery. And realistically, folks, if your battery's over 3 years old and you've got the smaller version of what the heck your vehicle calls for, by all means, get that bigger battery going in there. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.